let's go straight to Chris Jones. Start talking Fergus Burke. Sorry about that, mate. It's bring your dog to work day.
It's fantastic. What a great idea.
Yeah, well,
your problem is when listeners ring in and say that dog's making more sense than you are, then you really are in trouble.
Every day, mate. Chris, Fergus Burke, this is a real shock news for New Zealand rugby. Obviously, the Crusaders would have known about this. But here's a young man who hasn't even established himself with the All Blacks yet, and he's done the Charles Pear Tower. He's decided that, no, my future lies overseas in England and for Saracens.
Absolutely. Look, about 2 weeks ago, we had this name pop up as the guy who was going to fill the huge void at Saracens created when Owen Farrell goes over to Racing 92 for €900,000 a season. They had two marquee players at Saracens. A new deal means they can only have one, so that's going to be Mario Itoje. They had to get that huge amount of money out of their wage bill, which created a major problem because he's played over 250 games for Saracens, 18 years he's been there. He is Mr. Saracen. So how do you replace Owen Farrell? Well, you go and look at Garbisi, but he goes and steps the money down in Toulon. So then you go down under and you come up with the name Fergus Burke, who Gregor Townsend wanted to bring to Glasgow and make Scottish.
Yeah, look, this is such a pressure position, as you say, following in the footsteps of one of your greatest ever first fives for England. He's 24 years young. Does he have the experience right now to just step straight into that role?
Well, not at Saracens, not the level they're playing at the moment. They're going for all the titles as usual. Look, they're a team in transition. They've got a number of good young players coming through, and they want him to be the leader of the young players. Now, according to Mark McCall, their very astute director of rugby, Fergus wants to take his game to another level. Well, I'm sure a lot of New Zealand fans will say, well, he hasn't actually reached the first level yet, so let's see what he can do going up 4 or 5 levels, because that's what he's going to have to do to compete against the top 14 teams in the Champions Cup. And, that's pretty rarefied stuff. It's just below international level. And, he has got the pressure of being the new Owen Farrell, along with the fact that we want to find out whether, in fact, he's fully recovered from an Achilles injury, which, as we know, is one of the most difficult to come back from and just regain your confidence in your running, your ability to step. There's lots of sort of question marks about this, and they don't expect to see him till the summer till he's absolutely right. And then he's going to suddenly fit in to a club which many people say are just on that tipping edge of going away from what they were, which is the most dominant force in England and at times in Europe, to being, one of the top 4 or 5 teams, which is not what they want to be and what their backers don't want them to be. So it's a massive call to go for Fergus, but what an opportunity for a 24-year-old.
As far as international rugby goes, he's played for the under-20 New Zealand side. I'm not going to call them the All Blacks, the junior All Blacks, or whatever you want to call them. Apparently he's available for England. He does qualify, and he does qualify for Scotland as well. So a range of choices, but it doesn't look as though the jersey's going to be black.
No, and if he's ever been on holiday to Wales, we'll have him as well. And I'm sure there must be some kind of Irish connection in there. So all 4 could probably be in there bidding for him. Look, England are not exactly short of outside halves at the moment. Scotland are really concerned because if something happens to Finn Russell, well, it's pretty thin after that. So you can see why Gregor wanted to place him at Glasgow. But, Glasgow are one of only two professional teams in Scotland, and they will not have the sort of budget to compete against someone like Saracens, putting something on the table and saying to Fergus, this is what we're going to give you, and here are the incremental increases as the years go on. It was a no contest as far as Glasgow trying to keep him out of the clutches of Saracens.
What does it say about All Black rugby from your distance as well? That the black jersey isn't worth as much anymore? Is it just, such a huge amount of money that a young man can't turn it down? Once he decides that he goes and he plays for somebody else, he ain't coming back and playing for us.
Exactly. So this is obviously been a family decision. You don't just do this on your own. They've looked at the lie of the land. They've looked at the sort of contenders for the All Black 10 jersey. And, 24, he's not your under-20s guy just coming out and pushing for recognition. England have got a couple of Smiths, Marcus and Finn, who are looking really, really good. George Ford doesn't look like he's going anywhere soon. So you would have thought that if he really just wanted international rugby, he would have listened more to the Gregor Townsend calls. And there's no reason why he can't still opt to play for Scotland. They've got a couple of guys, Sean Maitland, another New Zealander at Saracens, who had a great career with Scotland. Andy Christie's just broken his arm, the Scotland flanker. He plays there as well. So he could still play for Scotland out of Saracens. The thing the Saracens have gone for, it's a monetary thing, because as an English qualified player, there is an incremental sum of money coming from the RFU for every one of your players in your squad who is English qualified.
Devlin.
Yes! Yes! Can they do it?
The platform.
1:28 time. Fergus Burke. I've just seen actually up on the Saracens social media page. They're calling him Fergalicious. To a highlights reel under the headline, "So delicious." And these highlights, I'm not joking, people, these highlights are of him fending off players from Manawatu and running through Southland. And these are I'm sorry, but you've just paid the guy Owen Farrell wages.
Manawatu and Southland.
For NPC form?
Manawatu and Southland.
129, Colin Mansbridge, CEO of the Crusaders. A couple of things to talk to him about, obviously. Colin, welcome back to the show, mate. We've got a couple of topics to talk about. First and foremost, though, congratulations on your Crusaders getting a win. Delightful.
It was. Thank you, Martin. We're very pleased. A little bit of relief, but a lot of pleasure in that performance.
Well, it's something that must be really unusual for yourself in the position that you hold and everything, to have a team that has really struggled. How has that changed the way that you've been going into work the last few weeks?
I'd be a liar if I said there wasn't a little bit more tension than normal, but we've tried to stay true to what we're about. So obviously we're proud of the effort of the people, but disappointed in the results, I think, is where we've got to. You have a look at some of the matches over the year, and a few of them have been reasonably close, and there's been some clunky performances as well. So we're not making excuses, but I think we have had a few challenges in terms of depth and breadth of combinations. So if you've got depth and breadth combination issues, it just means you're going to look a little clunkier than you would otherwise. So the players themselves, the individuals, are really hard-working, heaps of confidence in them, but when you've got people who have played together for such low minutes, it does mean that your cohesion and connection is not quite where it should be. So I think we made a bit of progress on Saturday night, Friday night. So we're stoked about that.
Yeah, certainly did. 5 tries and 37 points against the Chiefs, never to be sneezed at under any circumstances. Were there any conversations at all between you and Rob Penny over the last few weeks, or did you just leave him alone to get about his business?
It's probably making sure that he's got the support that he needed, or him and the coaching group, and everybody associated with the team. Have they got the support they needed? Is there anything else that was required from the organisation? What else did we need to do for them to help them be in the best position they could be? So no, there was a very strong alignment across the whole organisation. I think Penn's even mentioned it last week. He talked about support from the board and the management and everybody here. I think we all feel the results, everybody in the organisation. But I think what we tend to do is say, what is our role in that? And have we shown enough faith in people? Have we given them enough support to people? What can we do to make this place go better and those people to go better? So that's probably the place we start from.
Are you bullish now? Do you think you're going to make the playoffs now, and then what?
I think what happened this week is the review needs to be just as detailed, just as professional as the review of every week. In fact, probably more so. That the pressure goes on to be better this coming week than what we have been the last few weeks. So I think I've always had confidence in the group, and I've always had confidence in the people. We're not going to just chalk up a win and think everything's fixed or everything's sorted. I think all it does do is it just gives you a little bit more confidence leading into the next few games. So we've definitely still got our eye on the main prize, Martin. No doubt about that.
Colin, what's your reaction to Fergus Burke leaving to go to Saracens at the end of the season?
Obviously, he's eligible for 3 nations, I think, ourselves, Scotland and England. So we're disappointed to see him go. He's a good man. He's been here most of the time I've been here, and and really, really worked hard on himself and around the environment. So we are sad to see him go, but understand completely when you're eligible for 3 countries, it probably makes your decision making a little bit more complex.
Did you try and compete with the money at all that they're offering?
I think the short answer is it's probably not just about the money. I think there's also, they've been fairly clear about talking to him about what his aspirations could be. So I think it's not just about money. There's also experience. We've seen it with other athletes who've made calls like that in future to grow themselves with other experiences.